Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast in a game between Una versus Lost. I believe it's Lost Love, hopefully, or is it what, WFZ versus Una? Yeah, okay, so Una. Wow, this is so much more difficult than I thought it would be. Alright, let's see. The players are going to be Lost Love and WFZ. WFZ is going to be the Undead player. Meanwhile, Una is the NIghtelf player. I'm not going to try to actually remember that since these players decided to not have an observer, so I actually have to turn off Fog of War. And this is going to be Last Refuge version of the map 1.3. I've been getting a lot of questions for perhaps an Undead replays, and that is the reason why I'm definitely going for an Undead replay now. NIghtelf versus Undead. You can see Ancient of War creeping going to be happening over here, a 3-3-3 creep camp, meaning that the Demon Hunter is not going to be able to level off of it, assuming that it is a Demon Hunter. Meanwhile, Tome of Relics now being set aside, Altar of Darkness, Crypt, so it looks like it will be ghouls with a Death Knight. I do not believe I've ever seen an opening hero, or very rarely do I ever see an opening hero besides the Death Knight, especially against NIghtelf, and it's going to be a Warden. So interestingly enough, it is going to be a Warden here, and this is not your typical build at all. We are going for ghouls, and I really wish I was an observer so I wouldn't have to hear all of those rally point changes. That is rather annoying. Now, Archer should be trained up in just a moment. It should unroot and now try to tank a little bit of that damage. Let's take a look at Last Refuge. There is a tavern in the center of the map. Creep camps are a little bit more difficult to spot. You can see them here and here. They open to the center slightly, and there are a lot of creep camps, so a lot of creeping can go on. Back over here, you now see ghouls are being trained, and I really wish that they would stop that, because that is so annoying in terms of sound and gameplay. As you now see the Ancient of War tanking a little bit of that damage, perhaps going to eat a tree. As this game gets underway, a ghoul now going to make its way in and spot that there is a Moonwell down over here. And we need to see what hero it is going to be. And it does, I believe, spot the Warden. As you can now see a Ring of Protection +2 being dropped for the NIghtelf player here. Meanwhile, WFZ going to make his way out. He sold his Scroll of Town Portal, has a Rod of Necromancy and Dust of Appearance as a Death Knight with Unholy Aura first in order to get across the map very quickly. Unholy Aura allows that Death Knight to not be able to, it doesn't allow him to really get off that death coils in order to steal creep, but that faster movement speed plus the ability to get up additional ghouls does lend to very, very good surrounds. You can see down over here, you can see an Archer and a Warden now pushing its way in as the Death Knight looking to get some damage onto those Wisps. Oh, the animation did not finish. That Wisp did not take any damage. I don't think the Moonwell, yeah, the Moonwell was not used, as the Death Knight now trying to get away will be able to outrun that Warden with really no issue whatsoever, as that Death Knight just runs up and down these hills and now past the tavern. Taking a look back over here, we are going to Halls of the Dead already, so we are now going into Tier 2. The Death Knight now going to be pushing in with a whole bunch of ghouls. 5 ghouls, 6 ghouls, 7 ghouls now going to be making their way in, and with all of this Unholy Aura action going, the ghouls should be able to surround very easily and perhaps get some damage on. You can see that the Dust of Appearance has been bought, so if Archer tries the Shadow Meld, it is not going to work. And now, oh, here comes the Warden. Now the Warden may get surrounded here. That's not good news at all. What's going to be happening? And now, quickly getting in a Rod of Necromancy charge, as there are now 2 Skeletal Minions. The Skeletal Minions actually deal more damage than the Ghouls, surprisingly enough, as I believe they have the same attack speed, but a slightly higher damage, and now going to try to take down some of these Moonwells. Moonwell's taking a lot of damage already, and the Warden may get surrounded. Oh, able to simply sneak by. Getting very lucky there, as the Warden now going to go toe-to-toe and try to fight off so many of these ghouls here. Another Rod of Necromancy being used, and it looks like this Moonwell already down to half-life, as a low hit point ghoul now being retreated home already. Shadow Strike onto a low hit point ghoul. The ghoul down to 44 hit points. It looks like it will get taken down by that Shadow Strike ability. There it goes, giving level 2 to that Warden, as the Warden now can have Fan of Knives. And Fan of Knives is going to be able to do a lot of damage to all of these ghouls if the ghouls are not careful. Warden now pushing in. The Warden has to be very, very careful, though. Has to make sure that it does not get surrounded. Otherwise, those ghouls will rip through that Warden very quickly, as the Warden once again backs off. Archers, not a very good counter to those ghouls just quite yet, until they are able to focus down and get a large enough number, as Skeletal Minions once again coming back in. And it doesn't look like WFZ has really been able to capitalize on his early unholy strategy, but he may pick up a Tavern Hero, and that timing on that looks like it's just a little bit early. He could perhaps try to go after some creeps, and if he's able to get perhaps a little bit of creeps, he may be able to get to level 2, and that would be very important, as now the Warden sitting at level 2 has boots of speed, and will finally be able to catch up to that Death Knight. Naga Sea Witch has been picked up, so a Naga Sea Witch with Cold Arrow going to deal a lot of damage, as this Warden is not going to be able to do very much at all. Wisp quickly gets a detonate off over here. Death Knight, what's going to happen? And now in comes the Warden, and this is going to be very bad news for that Warden. It may get a surround off in just a moment, and no surround. That Warden barely able to escape. I know he has a lot of hit points, but you got to be very careful when you're escaping from a Warden. Sorry, from a Naga Sea Witch, and with a whole bunch of ghouls that can easily surround and take you down, forcing the use of a Scroll of Town Portal. Mantle of Intelligence +3 most likely will be given to the Naga Sea Witch. Slightly more damage, as we now see the Warden sitting at level 2 still. Not really much she can do. There is a Rock Golem over here. We are now teching the Tier 3 Black Citadel, and we have completed the Graveyard, as the Death Knight doing a good job now creeping with the help of a Naga Sea Witch. Sentry Wards will be picked up, even better item than the Dust of Appearance, as the Dust of Appearance does start to fade after a while the Sentry Ward does stick there for, I believe, close to 10 minutes, maybe 5, as the Warden and now the Ogre Warrior is getting taken down over here. The Warden may get to level 3, but in come the Ghouls now. The Ghouls perhaps going to get a little bit of a creep jack here, now going after some low hit point archers. The Archer does get taken down. One Archer now goes down. Another Ghoul does get focused down as well, and now the Warden is in a bit of trouble. Naga Sea Witch getting off a couple cold arrows onto the back, and the Warden now sitting at level 2.5. Unable to really do anything here, and now it looks like we are going to have a little bit more creeping. No, the Warden going to perhaps try to come back in, get even more damage after hitting up that Moonwell, and that Ogre Magi just beating up on the Naga Sea Witch and some of these other units. More cold arrows once again coming on to Una's Warden there, as Una's Warden is still full on energy or mana. We are about to get 2/3 of the way. We are going into statues, so there's going to be a lot of healing going on, as these two heroes are pretty much preventing a lot of creeping from happening. Death Knight should be able to get to level 2 in just a moment. Does have a potion of lesser invulnerability. Now going to go after that Warden as well. More cold damage once again coming in. The Ogre Magi at about half life or 2/3 life right now, and we'll see what's going to be happening here as we are continuing to tech. Taking a look into the base of Una. Una is going into bears. So bears and dryads, and that's going to be a very interesting strategy, as the Crypt Fiends and the Destroyers, depending on what units are attacking what, both sides properly counter each other. Death Knight now looking to perhaps get in a little bit more damage, or perhaps trying to do a little bit of kill stealing, but unable to do so. And now the Warden is now at level 3, so a level 3 hero versus 2 level 1s. As Black Citadel has now been completed, perhaps we are going to be going into Destroyer form already. Yes, Destroyer form now being started. One Obsidian statue healing up the rest of this party and group here. And level 2 on the Death Knight and the Naga Sea Witch at pretty much the same time. And we'll see what will be used. And I believe Death Coil will be trained by the Death Knight. And meanwhile, Naga Sea Witch could get Fork Lightning, as I don't see anyone ever really using Mana Shield at all. Down goes the Trapper, and a Tome of Experience picked up by the Death Knight. Death Knight now very close to level 3, as now Ghoul Frenzy has just finished, and Destroyer form about to be completed. We'll see how this all works out. The Crypt Fiends have to be very have to focus fire those Dryads. Those Dryads are very important, as you now see the Lich joining in on the fight. Did the Lich pick up yes, it did pick up an Orb of Corruption, removing 5 armor from everything. That is very potent, as it essentially removes, I think, close to 30% of, or units take an additional 30% damage. Essentially, as we are now also getting into Claws of Attack +6, it may be given to perhaps the Naga Sea Witch as well, as the units are now wandering around. Bears now coming in. You can see a quick ensnare there. Druid of the Claw is in a bit of trouble. There is a Frost Nova, and in comes another rejuvenation onto a bear. More bears trying to come back in. More ghouls, both sides taking a beating, as a ghoul may get taken down. Destroyer is now trying to focus down the bear, and it looks like that bear will get taken down as well, as the Ancient of War may get taken down, and there it goes as well, in addition to an archer. Archers now desperately running for their lives, but it really looks like WFZ has taken a clear advantage now with the level 3 Death Knight, level 1 Witch, level 2 Naga Sea Witch as well. A Lich and Witch, yes. And now we are sitting on a level 4 Warden, but we all know how powerful a Warden at level 6 can be. Avatar of Vengeance. Oh, Roba Magi being picked up by the Death Knight. Death Knight taking a lot of damage. Has to be very careful. It needs to back off as it needs to get healed back up. Bears now in bear form as a rejuvenation onto the Warden. We'll see whether or not the Warden's going to be able to really do anything about this. Level 4 compared to a level 3, a level 1, and a level 2 that is now level 3 as well. So the Naga Sea Witch and the Lich, Naga Sea Witch and the Death Knight level 3. Lich still sitting at level 1. But this is going to become a very interesting battle as the Destroyer looking to, the Warden looking to get to level 5 as the Destroyer giving a little bit of sight, and we'll see whether how many Obsidian statues we're going to see in play and how many Destroyers will be used, and how much energy or mana these Destroyers are going to have, as Destroyers with energy deal so much additional damage. Ogre Lord quickly getting focused and now going to lose a lot of that armor down to -2 armor, so he takes an additional 6% damage. No reduction whatsoever, as you can now see the Troll Berserkers are being destroyed as well. Back over here, there is a Warden now sitting at level 5, just a fraction of experience away from level 6, or fraction of total of experience. Hood of Cunning being dropped, and that is a very nice item. Hood of Cunning, I believe it is strength plus intelligence, or it could be agility plus intelligence. So that is going to be a lot of experience there, as now a Warden is sitting at level 5, able to, I believe, Staff of Teleport in and now disrupt a lot of the mining. So this is going to be huge, as the Warden wants to get to level 6 and can only do so by taking down ghouls and other units, as we now see Una now going into a Pandaren Brewmaster as well. And is it going to be enough, as another bear starting to get focused down as well? A little bit of pathing going on. The Destroyer going to be able to get some easy damage. The Warden looking to just clear out this location here. There are a lot of Acolytes. Are we going to get a Fan of Knives perhaps, as we are now chasing down more units as well? Another Dryad may get taken down here, as the Warden getting off another Fan of Knives and now going after those Acolytes. Those Acolytes are on creep, so they are moving rather quickly. Acolytes, I always thought Acolytes were alive. I didn't think they were undead. And oh, another 2 Acolytes getting destroyed there, and a 3rd Acolyte getting taken down. So huge. No Acolytes on the gold mine at all, as a Staff of Teleportation now brings her home, and about 5 1/3 on experience to level 6. Abomination, Crypt Fiends, Destroyers, with the statues healing mana and hit points, as well as the Warden running straight into this group. Not a very smart call, and the Warden getting taken down at level 5. That was a complete misplay by Una, and Una desperately in trouble, as you can now see the level 3 Death Knight, the level 3 Naga Sea Witch, and there is the GG. Just a very unfortunate encounter there, as I think if Una had gotten to level 6, it could have been a completely different story. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed Game 1 in this series.